guys, we're Kenzie here back on the channel. Today we're going to be talking about concealed carry, what I carry. So I actually have several guns on rotation when I carry. I have guns that I like to carry in the winter that are bigger, more full-size guns. I have some that I carry in the summer when it's hot as hell and I need to conceal better. And I also like to have two. So you'll often see me have one always like on my body in some position, whether it's appendix or 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, whatever. But I also have a lot in go bags or in Vertex bags, 511 bags. Anything that has the crossbreed holster, the modular holster that has the Velcro backing, I typically will have two on me. Long story short, I started carrying the HK CC9 a little bit after February of this year. So I want to say sometime in March. So I'm almost 5 months into carrying this every day, as I really wanted to see if I would like it, if it was concealable, how it shot. And where I came to start shooting this more was at SHOT Show. Of course, I got to shoot a little bit, but at WAFT, so where our families train. That's a great facility. They had their HK Pro 5 event, and this is where we got the most time with this gun, which was excellent. And I was very surprised by it. You know, smaller guns are not necessarily better, but I do struggle, especially in the summer, with printing and different clothing types. So I want to dive into this pistol because HK did an excellent job. They also came out to Gals Day, was the title sponsor this year's of Gals Day. So they have this gun on the range getting live feedback from tons of women with different hand size, different ages, different experience levels. And it really shot well for all of them. They enjoyed it. So definitely a slim design, and this is why this fits so many women compared to other firearms. I'm a big fan of how in the last, I would say, five years, many manufacturers have started catering to women. Yes, there are men with smaller hand sizes. Yes, you know, we want smaller, slimmer, you know, things to carry with higher capacity, but women specifically have a struggle, not just to grip the gun, but is to reach the trigger. That's the hardest thing. You know, you need a gun that you're going to be able to reach the trigger, and with smaller hand sizes, it's just really not possible. But great design on the grip, and the slide, of course, too. But you have co-witness iron sights on here. So rear sight is blacked out serrated, and then you have this front green tritium sight, and they do co-witness. And obviously, I'm a red dot gal. If you paid attention, I don't use iron sights. I don't believe in them anymore. They don't exist to me. But I have the red dot, which I'll dive into. But this is cut already from the factory, RMSC. So HK did that a long time ago. They started, you know, I still have an original VP9 that's iron sights only, and then they started listening to customers and all of that, and now cut their guns, you know, for red dots because people want options. But what I do love about the trigger is it's curved, but you have a trigger safety, but it breaks really clean. So when I say, I mean, it has a clean audible break, but a feeling when you hit that wall that you know that the trigger break is coming. And then you do have a bit of take off, let go, you know, when you're having the trigger reset. So you want that in a carry gun. You have to come all the way up to reset that trigger. Why that's important, I've trained at WAFT enough now to realize under pressure you are going to be slapping the trigger. You're not going to be paying attention to how much pressure you're putting on the trigger or anything like that. I mean, you're not going to have time to prep. You're not going to be thinking about it, right? So you want a heavier pound trigger pull on your carry gun. It's kind of your last safety, I would say, built in just for your mind. But I do like that you come off to reset. The magazine release is really easy to get to, easy to hit. Smaller guns typically, they're a struggle, to be honest, and HK did a really great job. Takedown lever, slide lock lever on both sides, so it's ambidextrous. If you're a left-hand person, right-handed person, what have you. So I think that's excellent. And you have your Picatinny rail. You know, for carry guns, I do recommend mounting a light. Laser, fine, but light is the priority. So you do have two rails here that you can attach a light to. You would probably want a smaller profile light, though. Maybe the TR7? Yeah, thinking out loud what I would put on here. So it's just a really nice gun, very easy to carry, and I'll actually dive into the holster I'm using as well, but I want to share, this is the magazine I use every single day. 12 rounds capacity. Right now, those are the most easily concealable guns that I have that are 12 round and 13 round magazine capacity. There are some that are 15, but they're just too big. I mean, that's kind of the reality. Now, this has a little bit of a lip on it. It does come with a 10 round magazine as well. I don't have that out right now, but you want this lip for people that have a bigger hand size. What do I mean by that? If I was doing the flush fit 10 round magazine, my pinky is kind of half cut off on here, and that actually is not great on a draw. So when I draw the gun, I don't have purchase, I can actually miss my grip, right? With the 12 round magazine, pinky rest, right? So when you go to draw, especially appendix, your whole grip is on there pulling up from the gun, and that's huge. So you want that comfort especially if you have bigger hand sizes. This might not be for everyone, like I said, but the fact that you have options of 10 round or 12 round magazines is awesome. Okay, diving into the holster. So I have been using this and actually was looking at both the gun and the holster today. It's rusted. Nobody saw this beforehand off camera. I had to clean a little bit of rust spots off because, guys, I carry every single day, and I carry in 100-degree heat and outside when I'm sweating, outside when I'm mowing the lawn, in humidity. I mean, I can't tell you how often I carry. It's every day. It's part of my life. So just know that rust is going to be part of it. Maintaining your gear is really important, but A&R Designs, they make an incredible holster. I mean, this has been super durable, super rigid. And what I tell people when they look for holsters is buy a holster that is literally molded to the firearm of choice. Don't buy a one-size-fits-all type holster. That typically means there's no proper retention, or the retention is close but like not as important. You know, when you get into level 2 stuff or stuff with hoods, you can be a little bit more flexible because you have the hood up, but we're talking about concealed carry. So you want something with proper retention. So A&R Designs, there's a couple different options. They have the DCC mono clips. So there's 2 smaller clips that you can get that are metal, and they have like these under tuck hooks for belts. But I chose the single clip. So it's a plastic clip, single clip. And what's important, and again, we're not talking about magazine clips, we're talking about clips. If you get that, you're my homie. But you need to make sure this matches your belt size. What I mean by that is there are clips that come in 1.5 inches or 1.75 inches. Your belt could be different. Competition belts are a little bit longer. Safariland belts, a little bit longer. Make sure this is compatible and not vice versa, because then that's too loose. So I had to mention that. One thing too that you can add on to the holster itself is the claw. So this is a concealment claw. What this does is obviously you have your clip on your belt and it threads through, but your belt sits on top of the claw. This pushes against the belt, but it tucks the gun in more. So this is what's going to help that grip from not printing as much. Really important design. I love it. I highly recommend it. It doesn't add a ton of more width to the holster overall, so it's really easy to still conceal. So let me show you how well this retains in this gun. Ready? Click. So that's really awesome. They've already cut for the iron sights, you know, obviously with the holster, but they already cut this holster to be red dot compatible. And you have that choice when you check out on their website too. I mean, they make all their holsters to be the model and the right hand or the left hand, or, you know, red dot ready, whatever it is. So when you order, you can get the holster that fits your firearm specifically. So I think that's huge. Yep. Good retention. Love their holsters. So I want to dive into the red dot optic. So on another video, if you checked out a previous video I did, I talked about closed and open emitter red dot sights. And this is where it's really important to choose a red dot based on your gun, but also how often you carry, where you're carrying. And I highly, highly, highly recommend a closed emitter for carry guns. Why? So open emitters, which is not this, has obviously the emitter that projects that red dot into the window, and it's open to the elements, meaning rain, sweat, rust, mud, whatever, can actually cover up that emitter. And it's not as important in competition because that's not the end of the world, right? But we're talking about a life-saving dot. If you had to see your red dot optic, you want a closed emitter that is protected from the elements. So the projection is actually inside, all sealed up, so there's no dirt, dust, debris. I mean, you can probably even see in the video that I have a little bit of lint and dust in here, and that's after I clean this for you guys. You know, this is, again, inside the waistband, concealed carry. So this is going to have a lot of lint collection from different, whether it's jeans, leggings, just different materials. So it is going to build up, and that's why I really like a closed emitter. So this is the Holosun EPS Carry dot, and it comes in green now, comes in red, but there is a 2 MOA dot and a 32 MOA circle. So you kind of have this like bullseye target and obviously your center dot, and it's very easy to pick up, very easy to see, very bright, and that's what I appreciate most about Holosun. Now when you get to the smaller footprint optics, this is an RMS-C. Sometimes it can be, you can find those red dots that are pretty much always on. I'm not a big fan of those, and ones that auto adjust. Not a big fan of those either. You actually have the ability to control your brightness levels, plus button, down button. Really important because you could be carrying all day into the evening, into the night. You want to make sure that you can see your red dot. And when it gets really bright outside, you might want to change that up. And check it often and what have you. The other thing, battery compartment for it is on the side of the optic. So there's no need to remove this to change out the battery when you need to. Just like you check your smoke detectors, I recommend changing your battery every 6 months. Hey, you can be type A and OCD, you don't have to, maybe that's too often, maybe once a year. make it a point to do it, right? But the battery compartment, 1620 battery is on the side. You still have your adjustments for elevation and windage, which is crucial. You need to zero this, and we'll talk about the ammo. You need to zero this for the ammunition that you're going to use. It does have your solar safe and your shake awake technology, all the things that you come to love for Holosun, and something that you want to rely on, obviously, to work when you need it most. So great job on that optic. Amazing setup. This is literally what I've been using. So if you ask me like, hey, Kenzie, what are you carrying? It is this. Have I carried it? Yes. Have I tried it? Yes. Have I shot it? Yes. I wouldn't be on my channel talking about these guns if I didn't actually believe in them, use them, trust them, because these decisions are huge. I think I've carried maybe 5 firearms in the last, oh my God, 12 years of my existence. Since I was legally able to do so, I've only carried 5. And that's the same thing of off body, on body, having 2 at one time. I don't trust a lot of firearms. And also you need to train with this. How many rounds have you put down range? Have you tried your actual defensive ammunition through this? Because if you haven't, you need to know that it's zeroed, that it works, that it functions, because there's so many different bullet profiles, which we're going to dive into when it comes to ammunition. And this is what's super important, because I've seen a lot of guns come to the range when I teach CCW classes. I've seen a lot of them fail. People have had their hollow points in their guns for years, okay? Some untouched, some do carry, some have never even shot them through there. But what's really important, you can see even these 2 loads right here are made by Super Vel, 2 different loads, and they already use 2 different bullet profiles. And even those grooves, you never know, could get hung up on the extractor and the ejection port, whatever, magazine, test your ammunition. But I want to mention that. And then what I did is zero this gun for the 115s. So I have the solid copper hollow points, and then I have jacketed hollow points, which is 90 grain. And you're talking about a plus P, so plus pressure. But this is defensive ammunition. Like I said, those are literally from these 2 boxes. And this is what you want to ultimately zero your gun with. So yes, you should shoot this before you carry with it. And I don't recommend just 1 or 2 rounds, right? You probably should shoot a box. Yeah, these are expensive, but we're talking about your life, right? Your life. It's kind of important. So I recommend going through these, testing them out. And then after that, once it's zeroed, you know, train with ballpoint ammo, full metal jackets all day long. But that's really important to set this up and make sure it all runs smoothly, and it does. So I did clean it today for this video, so I'm back in shape now. And I've also oiled the gun, and I'm gonna do so a little bit more after this too, just to prevent, I'm gonna use the word right, just to prevent some rusting. But I gotta talk to you about gun butter, you guys. I think my code still works. I'll get with Mason after this, so it should be good. 3 gun Kenzie. Cracking up. We're just doing this on the fly today, can you tell? Gun butter though. So this is their oiler that's a really small applicator, so it's like needle point. And this can really get into the slide grooves and everywhere, the small parts, the metal moving parts is where you want to oil. Let me show you how precise this is. Let me explain too the viscosity. It's not an oil and it's not a grease. It's somewhere in between, and that's why we call it gun butter. This stuff is somewhat thick, but it's also thin, and it lasts way longer than a lot of your oils that are going to dissipate from the heat very quickly. Why do I know this? I have used this in 3 gun on my shotguns. So on my Genesis Arms shotguns, there's somewhere in this room, on my Nighthawk pistols, on rifles all day long. And if you don't know gun butter too, if you go follow them, this is what a lot of people use on their machine guns. So when they're doing demos, whether it's Genesis Arms or other manufacturers, or I'm talking about belt feds, people are using gun butter. I was actually up at Tennessee Silencer, and we had a gun not working, and I had this in my pocket and pulled it out, and it started running. So gun butter, can't recommend it enough. Keep your guns maintained. Check it when you can, when you remember. If you're a little bit like me, that can slip. Last thing I want to mention before you go, check out my all new collection. It's my first 3 gun Kenzie collection ever with Run Gun, rungun.us. So this teal color is something I picked out. It is exclusive to my line. You can get this color on their website, and it's going to have the 3 gun Kenzie logo, but you can change the engraving of whether you want to have 9mm, something completely different, your name, whatever. But this is my ammo bag. So when I'm hitting the range, I'll just dump some remanufactured or loads or whatever ammo into here and handle ready to go, and that's what I use. So check out those at Run Gun. But I can't recommend HK guns enough, especially the CC9. They did an absolute great job on this pistol, and I mean, they do with all their guns. But if you're an HK snob, you're definitely gonna want this. But if you're ever on the range, or if you want to demo it and you can come find me, you know, I'm happy to show it to you, let you shoot it, whatever. Stay tuned though for more videos coming soon. And if you have questions about concealed carry stuff and holsters and all of this stuff, because it's overwhelming, DM me on Instagram. 3 gun Kenzie, super easy to find, super responsive. I care, and this is a really important decision. So thanks for watching. I'll have some more videos coming soon.